And by the way, this is Zelnaga Caverns, a favorite map of everyone. We'll see if the recent patches have helped the Protoss vs Protoss matchup in the early game, so that we can actually get to some late game. We'll see how far this game goes. Maybe we'll see carriers. I really want to see carriers in a PvP, and we do have the probe continuing to scout around here. I guess that only happens in the Bronze League. Of course, both of these players are very highly rated masters. I think Monk actually may be grandmasters. I can't exactly remember. Looks like we have the Cybernetics core now finishing up, or finished up, and the Warp Gate research now getting chrono boosted. Stalker is on the way. Zealot from Monk is going to be able to chase that probe out of here. Looks like the probe does juke the Zealot, and it will be able to scout back in here to see exactly what's going on. Still no second gas for Monk, so we'll see what he's trying to do. And Selbon over here, still no gas for Selbon, so it looks like that probe over here going to get hit in the face by that Zealot, and it will quickly retreat. And that finally, that probe over here going to be retreating for Selbon, and Selbon actually having a 2-food lead. Another Stalker coming up for NrG's Monk, and he is getting his second assimilator now. Definitely hiding that from Selbon. 2 gateways coming up from Selbon, and he will be able to put on some pressure, but probably not kill Monk. Monk over here gonna get control of this tower, and the Stalker trying to clean up that probe. It looks like the probe will be able to get away. There is a Stalker and a Zealot at the high ground for Selbon, so he should be able to hold off any sort of Zealot Stalker pressure, and 2 gateways on the way for Monk as well. Both players kind of hanging back for the moment. The gateways are about to finish, and the Warp Gate research is also finishing up. Selbon getting this gas a little bit later than Monk. Monk had his up and running for a little bit longer, so he has additional gas to be able to tech. We'll see what he decides to go for. And it looks like the Warp Gate research is finished, and the Warp Gates are warping in. A Chrono Boost going down on that Warp Gate, actually. And it looks like Robotics Bay is on the way for NrG's Monk. Robotics Bay coming up for Selbon as well. He's only got 1 guy in gas over here, so we'll see this impact him, because he will have a lot less gas than his opponent. We'll see when he notices that, and he's getting up another pylon. I guess he still has not noticed that he doesn't have guys in gas. He will be able to make fewer Colossi if he does not get enough people into gas. A probe did scout in there and will get cleaned up by this Zealot Stalker force. NrG's Monk, not that many units out in the field for him. A couple of Stalkers hanging out by the watchtower. He does have a proxy pylon over here, possibly to do some pressure in case his opponent moves out too far. An observer is on the way for NrG's Monk, and the 2 observers should cross paths in the middle of the map. Looks like 1 Stalker over here almost getting picked off by NrG's Monk. Looks like that Stalker will be retreating now. 4 gateways up for Selbon, so wow, actually 4 gateways, very interesting. 4 gateways robotics facility for Selbon. So he's gonna have less money for units overall. Twilight Council now finished. Blink being researched for NrG's Monk. Observers out and about on the map. Looks like the observer over here gonna be checking everything out. Selbon gonna be pulling that guy back smartly, just in case it does get picked off by those Stalkers. When a rival observer happens to pop up, it looks like NrG's Monk is now securing his natural expansion, abusing the ability of those Stalkers to move very fast and blink around in the near future. A natural expansion is coming up for Selbon as well. It's slightly delayed, and he is going for those heavier units. Immortals, they are slower, so he's going to be forced into a defensive position for the majority of this game until he gets those Colossus out. Stalkers coming in here, going to be trying to pick off a couple of units. Looks like doing some damage to a Zealot, but not quite much else. The Immortal will be able to force the Teal army to fall back. More Stalkers will be joining this, and possibly more harassment coming out in the near future. Another gateway coming up for NrG's Monk. Selbon mostly on Zealots, so this is a very kiteable army. Granted that you pick off that Immortal as well as those Stalkers, and especially with that blink upgrade, more stalkers getting warped in over here for NrG's Monk. He has a slight army lead in terms of those stalkers, and there is that observer coming in here. Twilight Council is researching that blink. A couple of stalkers blinking in here. Looks like they will be going after that Twilight Council. Twilight Council researching that blink upgrade. There's just a few seconds left. 3 seconds left on that blink, and it looks like the Twilight Council goes down, and Selbon not able to get that blink upgrade. Critical for those stalkers, just getting that picked off just in the nick of time, but he's not going to be able to have that blink upgrade anytime soon, and this mobile army for NrG's Monk will be able to continue abusing this slow Protoss army from Selbon. Looks like the stalkers over here are going to be trying to pick off a couple of units. Force Field's going down, but still with the blink upgrade easily getting away. A couple of units may have been picked off over there, not quite. But he is doing hull damage to those stalkers, and the stalkers continue to poke around over here for NrG's Monk, and he's getting his natural expansion very well saturated. Let's take a look at the units tab. It is 35 probes only for Selbon, so he is behind in terms of economy. He's also only now getting up his 2 gases over here. A stalker does get taken down, but a couple of zealots are getting taken apart by those stalkers. One stalker over there lucky to live with just 10 HP. The 2 gas are now up and running for both players. Well, Monk isn't actually mining from them. He is now just making stalkers, actually. Still getting a couple of immortals into this mix. And oh no, the stalkers just kind of walking in there. A ton of stalkers getting taken out by Selbon. He is looking pretty good, in a pretty good position here. His army composition is a lot better, and he does pick off that pesky observer that did allow NrG's Monk to pop in there and pick off that blink upgrade. Looks like more immortals are on the way for Selbon, and additional gateways coming up for NrG's Monk. He should be going for those Colossus in the near future. Still not getting guys into that second gas. Should be doing that soon. He's warping in additional stalkers over here to bolster his army. It does look like Selbon can actually push and do a lot of damage because he has the immortals, he has the zealots, and over here it's just a couple of zealots, 1 immortal, and just a few stalkers. It's mainly a probe count advantage for NrG's Monk. So this very powerful army here can actually do some pushing and force Monk into a very awkward position. However, that opportunity window is closing rapidly. Gateways are popping out for Monk. He's getting his +1 upgrade in the near future. I think I saw a forge going down somewhere. I'm not too sure where it is, but more zealots now popping out, and the red Protoss army is now advancing across the map. And the stalkers will blink away the immortal, doing massive amounts of damage to those stalkers. Observer over here continuing to hang out. And it looks like our Teal Protoss player getting the Templar Archives, possibly going for some Archons. This is such a strange PvP game. And it looks like our red Protoss player taking out the red rocks over here. NrG's Monk has a probe and a pylon kind of hanging out in the backside. Colossus Den is now complete for Selbon. Stalkers continuing to try to poke around for NrG's Monk. He is now getting a slightly larger army, has plenty of zealots now. Looks like that window of opportunity has been completely closed for our red Protoss player. It looks like he's going to be advancing against these stalkers. Those stalkers need to get out of there. Blink going to be used to be able to get away from those zealots. Going to be joining up with this main army over here. A couple of Templar warping in, possibly get those Archons up. Archon's now warping in, a couple of more zealots going to be joining this force, and our red Protoss player just backing all the way up to his base. He's going to be waiting for those Colossus to come out. The first Colossus is now on the field. Does it have the extended thermal lance? No, it does not. The zealot charge on the way for NrG's Monk, and finally a Twilight Council coming up for our red Protoss player. It looks like a pylon will be going down from NrG's Monk. And a couple of Archons and a bunch of Zealots going to be guarding this this area over here. Monk now grabbing his gold base. Selbon looking forward to grabbing his gold base as well. Throwing down that third base. Both players still chilling and hanging out. More Archons on the way for NrG's Monk. Those Archons are actually very, very good against Zealots. And more pylons coming up. NrG's Monk may be looking to do a push over here. He does have his charge upgrade finished, so those charge lots will be able to charge forth. Two Colossi sort of out of position all the way at the front. Blink being used to be able to take out those Colossi very quickly. And the Zealots charging forth all of the Immortals at the front as well. Going to be doing heavy amounts of damage against those Blink Stalkers, or non-Blink Stalkers. The Archons moving forth, going to be doing tons of damage, and Immortals in the mix as well. Charge lots advancing forth, going to be able to clean up this force from our red Protoss player. And more Stalkers moving forth. Big Bu has left the game. And a GG from Selbon. And this game goes to NrG. And Monk taking it for his team 4-1. NrG does advance to the semifinal. Please check out our website at mocktechcorp.net/APL. And if you do enjoy what you see here, please do subscribe. And this is Aegis signing off. Hey guys, this is Aegis, and this is Game 5. This is game point for NrG. They are ahead 3-1. NrG's Monk is going to be spawning over here as the teal Protoss player. Going to be playing against Selbon, spawning as the red Protoss player. We'll see who is able to take this game. Selbon needs to take this game in order for Chaos Theory to hang in there, to be able to continue playing in the semifinals, and hopefully advance to the grand finals of the American Pro League. The grand finals are on the way. Please check out our website at mocktechcorp.net/APL to see when that is scheduled. We will have a live stream for that, for those games. And we do have NrG's Monk over here. Actually, no. PT Selbon, not PT. I think that was his old clan. NrG's Monk throwing up his first pylon. Very similar build orders in the beginning of the game. Chrono Boost going down on the probes for NrG's Monk. And a probe scout is coming across for Selbon, so he is losing a little bit of mining time, but he can harass here, and we'll see if he decides to do that or if he decides to do anything funky over here. It looks like Monk is going to be checking the corners of his base just in case there's any sort of cannon rush. And the probe is scooting in here, going to be checking out everything that's going on. Looks like the Chrono Boost continuing to get used. The Assimilator coming up for for both players now, and the Gateway also coming up for both players. Selbon had a slightly later gas. We'll see how that impacts him later on in the game if gas becomes an issue for Selbon, but probably not. Both players are very similar at this moment. Gas now finished for both players.